Hello and welcome to Meet the Parents, a podcast where we discuss the good, the bad and the funny about parenting and beyond, not just for parents. I was just thinking there, you have a son who's turning 20 and you were turning 20 when you were expecting your son. Imagine if this podcast had to be changing its name to Meet the Grandparents.
It would be one episode long.
Yeah, we wouldn't.
And it'll be gone.
Yeah,
If this goes out in
it's like it'll be out in November.
in order, this
At
will
some
be
stage.
our last podcast with me in my 30s.
Oh, so to the listener, you're 40 tomorrow,
Tomorrow.
aren't you?
Yeah.
How long have you been waiting to say that? Since we started
Just
the
since
podcast?
we started recording there, yeah. It just came into my head. Yeah.
Any
So you
dreams
go.
and ambitions for your 40th year?
The quiet life.
Not gonna happen. Find a
Early-
new ambition.
Early retirement. Start to wean off work, stress, anxiety.
You're dying to retire.
I started work when I was 11.
So did we all.
No, you didn't.
I was selling GAA tickets, right? Around the doors.
That's different for the
Raffle.
Take
Sell-
away the FFLE. aye.
Yeah, they had a wee
Selling
dash. So
novelties.
this raffle word spelled funny.
Do you know what? A good money making scheme for kids nowadays. Print off a page and just go round the doors asking for £1 for
Sponsors.
sponsors. Nobody checks. Nobody looks into it.
I'm sure they all are doing that. If they weren't, they're doing it now.
Definitely do it. Definitely do it. Call it ours. I'll give you £2.
No,
It's
you won't.
initiative.
You'd be like, turn off the lights. I remember my man and dad famously tell this story about whenever I was wee, and like, do you know, like the Mormons come to your door and like they knock on your door, and some people like hide because they don't want to have to go out and like have a discussion about a faith that they're not going to join. And my man and dad says they like remember when I was shouting around the house going, "Mommy, Daddy, hide! It's the Germans!" And I was down behind the sofa.
Fuck's sake.
They were German Mormons.
Germans.
Yeah.
One thing you did, I would love to make a segment out of, is mad shit that you say. And there's something you said last week that I would love to get the lads kind of verdict on if you're mad or if I'm mad.
Right.
So our daughter was eating pineapple, right? And you said, "Don't eat too much. You'll burn your tongue."
Yeah.
Is she mad or am I mad?
Pineapple is acidic.
I'll do the wee madometer here.
Pineapple's acidic. So it's going to burn your tongue if you eat too much of it.
Anyone?
Do you not
No.
think... Have you ever...
They're looking on in astonishment.
Right. I'm telling you now, you're right. I'll do a bit of Googling. Have you ever ate more... See, that your problem is, Sean, you haven't ate too much pineapple before.
Have you?
yeah. I've over-consumed pineapple in my time. You're forgetting I was a student and I'd done some mad shit. Right, so pineapple, I'm going to Google it, right?
Google it.
Burns tongue. Right, obviously I'm now putting on the code words that I need. How does this... There we go. The reason your tongue becomes irritated when eating the tropical fruit is because of its pesky enzyme called bromelain. What this enzyme does is essentially digest the protein on your tongue as you eat. So you get a tingling sensation. It's not burning, but your tongue tingles. So something's digesting your tongue
As you're consuming.
as you're eating it. An enzyme from the pineapple. So there we go. I'm not mad at all.
Diona'Doherty.com or
Yeah, it's on my blog. In 2009. So that's not a weird thing.
very weird.
But remember, this is going to get dirty, but do you remember...
What do you mean dirty? Like sexy?
Yeah, well, not
Go.
sexy. I mean, maybe. I don't know. You'll find it in a wee second.
Go.
But remember people used to say if a guy ate loads of pineapple, that is jizz would have a pineapple flavour. Can you weigh in is what I'm asking
Not
you
have
to
a
do?
pineapple flavour. It would be sweet or it would be tastier than a normal or like someone who's unhealthy
And
or has
does
an
it?
unhealthy diet. And you're asking me, does it? I we home truth here, right?
Never,
Never
tasted your
jizz
own
before.
jizz.
I've never tasted anyone's.
You've never tasted your own jizz. Wise up. That's like saying you haven't smelled your own fart. No more joking.
Exactly same thing. Good one.
Anyway, it probably...
What was the point? Why did you bring it up? What was?
It was just
what were you gonna
the
say?
only other thing I know about pineapple.
All right. I don't think it's pineapple. I think it's all fruit.
Is it? I don't think so. I think
Well,
that's an urban myth. But if the listeners want to try it out,
If you fancy,
I'm going to
let
do
us
a
know
poll
about
on
that one.
Instagram the day this comes out. And everyone has to go home, eat a bag of pineapple.
Test it out. Will we test it out for them and let them know next week?
No, show me won't. You can test it out. Solo project. Imagine when you turn 40, you just go, I'm going to debunk all the myths. This is the first one. Pineapple juice. What's that song that people, our nieces just sing about a pineapple?
Washing machines last longer with Calgon. No.
They just sing about, I got a pineapple.
Oh, pen, pineapple, apple, pen, isn't it?
Yeah, pen, pineapple. Do the songs that people get
I
into.
have a pen.
Yeah, kids.
I have a pineapple. Huh, pineapple pen, isn't it? Yeah, that's the instrumental.
People are stealing all of it, aren't they?
That's the speaking of stealing. That's the instrumental I used for Clogher Clogher 5 Mile Town.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I go to Clogher, huh, in County Tyrone.
Oh, do you do the wee hoot?
Yeah. That's what that came from.
But so in the video that there, someone's got a pineapple and they've got a pen and they've been hoot and they've got a
Pineapple
lollipop.
pen.
Pineapple.
That song reminds me of New Year's Eve because remember we had a big New Year's Eve party and my mum and dad's and the kids were all there and the kids all got up
Yeah.
dancing and that's what they did.
Oh, really? Was that song? That's before we had kids. That's why we had it. That's why we were at a New Year's Eve party.
I had kids, but
Oh, why? Before we had kids together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yours were old enough there and to be awake at midnight.
yeah.
It's funny whenever kids are like, "Can I please stay up late?" And then every night now, Winter goes to us, "Mummy, can I stay up late?" And I'd be like, "It is late. It's so past your bedtime. It's
Because it's
definitely
dark
not."
earlier now.
Yeah, it's like 6
Yeah.
o'clock, and I'm all, "Woo! You have
Yeah.
been. Are you not so? I'm so tired, my mummy, from staying up so late." It's like New Year's Eve, or kids are. Do you know what? Kids are obsessed with pulling all nighters.
Yeah.
And they never do. Every time, if they've got a sleepover or they've got like anything, like say New Year's Eve, they're all, oh, I'm going to do an all-nighter. And you're like, why? Do you realise how much you will regret that when you're an adult? You'll think back to that day that you stayed up all night and you're like, why did I not sleep that night?
See, I think in the future there should be something where you can, and it'll work with temperature too, where it's like you should have something that, like, not maintains, what do you call it, like contain, where it stays within you. Contains, where it's like if you, like during the summer you can build up all the heat, and then in
That
the
keep you
winter
warm
you
for
could
the winter.
like, you could just wear a t-shirt and when it's cold outside, but you're fine because you've saved up all this heat.
So you could bank up all the sleep in the months running up to becoming a parent, and then you could just like cash in your chips and
Yeah.
use them. Wouldn't that be class? I just burped. I don't know if you heard that. Pineapple. But that would be class if you could use up. What else would you bank up? I know pisses on your own. Might just be like, cash one in. I'm gonna have a solo piss today.
What's the alternative?
A group piss.
When do you do that?
Your kids come into the room.
Oh, right.
No, does the winter not follow you to the toilet?
Did
Do you not say what? Who was it? One of your mains followed you to the toilet one time when they were wee.
And I pissed on his head.
He's like, get out!
I actually
purpose?
do material about that, not as much recently, but I put it together as like a wee bit where I did, where genuinely like it was like we didn't want a daughter, or we didn't want to christen our daughter, but we ended up, she got christened accidentally one day because I was going to the bathroom and she came in, she was like, what are you doing? And I was trying to like block her off and I was like, no,
seeing your bits?
you can't see. And then she went around the other side and I was like, no. And then I thought she'd ran away, so I just went back to normal, and then this head came through under my legs and genuinely like I pissed on my son's head years ago. And I was
Yeah.
like, I'll rework it into like a modern thing, but
Oh, you did piss on one of their heads?
genuinely pissed on my son Charlie's head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is. Do you know what? That'll pay him back for all the times he's pissed on you.
Yeah. That'll learn him.
That'll
I remember one time I was changing my son James's nappy and he was a couple of months old. And when I like to change our kids, yeah, I was going to say kids in general. I don't change kids in general. I like to change my kids. Like a lot of
You're
people.
running down the street like, do you like fucking Mrs. Hanchway wipes in a nappy? Who needs changed?
I have a bum bag, but it's
Yeah.
like just fucking baby wipes that I
Yeah.
just pull out.
She's like, Mr. Nappy Man. Like,
But
shit superhero.
a lot of people like to change kids like sideways. I changed them ass to face. So I lifted James's legs up and I was changing his bum, cleaning him and stuff. And when I put him down, he was like soaked. His face was soaking. And I was like, what's he? He's like, he's drowning. What's going on here? He pissed his own face. I've never told him about that. I'll save it for his 21st.
Well, you told him now.
Yeah.
Do you know what? It's better than somebody else pissing on you. Unless you paid for it. People do
Golden
pay
shower?
for it. People pay for it.
Has anyone ever had a golden shower at golden hour
I'm sure, yeah.
while eating a gold bar?
Oh, yeah. I can't think of any. I'm trying to think of one.
Your ma's aunties.
Now, hold on. Don't go from golden showers to my ma.
Your ma's
The
auntie.
way your brain made that connection's like worrying.
Your ma's. Don't know. This is all that rhymes with R and everything. Your
Right.
ma's auntie's called Mini
Mini
Bar.
bar.
Cracker.
Yeah, that's her actual name.
Yeah.
And no joke, there was 2 trees of greens in my school. Mm-hmm. There was that joke about what
From the
colours
song?
trees are green. What colours trees? Trees are green. Do I need to explain it anymore?
Keep going. Give me another one.
Yeah. Is trees are brown? No, trees are green. Well, they are actually.
Fuck's sake.
Oh, but somebody could be called trees are brown because brown is a surname.
Yeah.
As well. But you can't be called trees of pink.
Nobody
That's
says
both
trees
not
are brown,
tree
though.
and not a name. For God's sake. We
We've been-
started
I was going to say,
sleep training our son, Rocky, who is 5 months old.
I always say to you, every time you brag about something that one of our kids has done, they do the opposite, like straight away.
I'm not gonna brag. I'm gonna lay down the facts.
Go.
Is what we're gonna do. We started sleep training Rocky. He's 5.5 months old now, right? Sleep training's really a controversial topic, isn't it? Like
Yeah, a lot of people hate the idea of it.
we all hate the idea of it.
Genuinely, it's life changing.
It's life changing.
And see, for us too, I'm sort of like giving away the ending here at the
Don't
start.
be giving away the ending, Sean. Jesus Christ. Have you ever watched a movie?
Build up to it. I rewind the movie.
From the end?
Aye, from the end to
You
the
watch
start.
it in Latin? From end to start? Yeah, so say what you're going to say, but don't give it. I mean, the end is he's sleeping, I suppose. What I mean, Jesus.
But no, it literally took no time at all.
Yeah.
Like people think it goes for days, for weeks, for months of them crying every night, and you're
Yeah.
sitting on the stairs crying with them and stuff.
It depends on
ours
their
was
age.
So easy.
As well.
What's the age you're supposed to?
5
5
months, not
Yeah,
before.
Yeah, not
So
before 5 months.
when a baby is up to 5 months, their sleep cycles are completely different than 5 months plus. When a baby turns 5 months, their sleep cycles become the same as ours as adults, in that they go into a really light state of sleep at the end of a sleep cycle, almost awake. That's when we roll around in the bed in the middle of the night because we've come into an almost awake, if not awake, state of sleep, but we have the skills to just roll over and put ourselves back to sleep, which is why we can sleep a whole night long. Babies don't know how to put them. It's a skill. That's what people don't know.
That's what people don't know.
Yeah.
Babies don't know how to put themselves to sleep.
Yeah, it's a
You
skill.
you have to put a baby to sleep until they're 5 months old.
And I know lots of people think, oh, when my baby was 2 months old, I just put his dummy on and put him in the cot and he went to sleep. It's like, but the dummy's doing it. He's sucking the dummy. It's
Do
putting
your
him
job,
to sleep.
Barbara.
But no, the dummies do the job. That's great.
Why is the 60-year-old having a baby?
Yeah. Why?
You know better, Edith.
But that's another thing too, because actually Khloe Kardashian's in her mid-40s and she's just had a baby. And what did she call it?
Went there.
Rocky.
Rocky.
She's called her baby Rocky, which is actually quite annoying because everyone's gonna think we named our son after Khloe, or what do you call her, Kourtney Kardashian and Travis Barker's baby. They're gonna think we named our baby after theirs because they're only a couple months apart.
Is it Rocky Parker? That's a cool wee name.
Rocky
Parker.
13 Barker, which is class.
Why 13?
I don't know, but I'm sure it means something. Maybe he's got 13. Where's the 13? Is he the 13th child? Because they've loads between them. Couldn't be that many. No, it means something, I'm sure. Maybe his last album went to 13.
In the charts?
Don't know how much
Whose
he'd
last album?
celebrate that.
Travis Barker?
So their wee boy's called Rocky anyway. But so sleep training, you have to wait till they're 5 months because they're developmentally capable of putting themselves to sleep. And what you need to do then is allow them to learn to put themselves to sleep. So then when they wake up during the night, they can just roll around and put themselves back to sleep. So up until Rocky was sleep trained there, I was still doing night feeds twice a night. What was that?
You laughing at?
13 is just the greatest number of all time. That's the reason.
No way!
Seriously?
13 is just the greatest number of all time.
Who says that? Travis or Travis Barker?
What a stupid reason to name your child 13.
Well, why is his band not called Blink 13 then?
He's called Blink 182. It's obviously not the best number. He obviously chose 182 first. Fuck's sake. It's the second best. Imagine he was like, it's just the second best number of all time.
Yeah.
That's why we named our child.
182 is the Bustapam Bridge. Right,
Is
so
it?
let's... I have no idea. So let's start at the beginning,
right,
right?
we'll
You
talk-
have your baby's just turned 5 months old.
They're developmentally capable of putting themselves to sleep. So if you want to sleep train your child, this is what to do. you need to wait till they're 5 months, and then you need to build a sleep time routine for the few weeks leading up to them going to be sleep trained. Basically, you can't speak to your child to let them know, like a baby. You can't be like, it's nearly bedtime. So you need to give them physical cues, which is like a bath and
Dim the lights.
lullabies.
Read them a wee story. A story, see a baby, even like a 1 or 2 month old baby, a story is great stimulation for their mind.
Yeah.
And it's great
wee
for them
book.
in general. A wee book.
Yeah, because they put their hands out, they try and touch it, and they see all the colours. And also, like, if you're doing that every night in their room with a book in front of them, it's sort of
Becomes a routine, doesn't
it comes
it?
a routine, and it's a cue. And then their sleep bag, or you can't sleep train a baby with a swaddle. The swaddle needs to go if you're still using a swaddle. That should be gone by 3 or 4 months anyway. Sleep bag on them, all these wee things that they go, oh, it's bedtime. Spend a good bit of time, like a 30-minute period in their actual sleep space with them in their room. Also, if you're sleep training them, they can't be in your room anymore. They need to be in their own room.
But that's when you get your life back. That's
Oh my God, when Rocky moved into his own room, it was like, we can sit in bed and watch TV at night.
just walking around with it swinging, wasn't it?
Yeah, just the remote.
The remote.
Just to change the channel, yeah.
Just holding it in my hand and that, don't know why.
Yeah.
Like a metal
It's like,
detector.
I'm just keep changing the channel. So, yeah, you try, basically the key is to put the baby down drowsy but awake. That's what they say when you're sleep training, drowsy but awake. And even the word sleep training sounds like really military, like sleep education. I don't know, just your baby's learning to fall asleep, so they'll sleep throughout the night. And the plan is that within a week you should have a baby going to sleep for 11 to 12 hours at night straight through and putting themselves to sleep independently. So that was the main problem
At bedtime.
At bedtime.
Not during naps.
We'll
Naps
figure
come,
out naps after.
Naps come later, yeah.
The main reason why we wanted to sleep train was so that other people could put Rocky to sleep whenever we were doing stuff like today at the podcast. Sean, you've had trouble putting him to sleep at nighttime because he obviously prefers I'm breastfeeding him, prefers to be for me to put him to sleep. So that was like you were having 20 minutes to half an hour of him wrestling you to go to sleep at night. So we were trying to eliminate all of that to make your life easier as well. Mm-hmm. To be honest, with Winter, we sleep trained her because she was waking 6-7 times a night. Rocky was waking twice a night from birth, and I could have dealt with that for actually a few more months. That wasn't the end of the world for me. Because he's such a content baby and didn't cry that much, the thought of sleep training him, I was like devastated. I was thinking about it since before he was born, because with Winter she cried for so long. With him, I was like, he doesn't cry that much around me, so I was really, really fucking dreading it. Which is why when I talk about it a bit more, you'll be surprised about how easy it was. Fed him in his room, did all the sleep routine, and on the first night, it was last Sunday, lay him down in his bed, like you're just like, good night, love you, bye bye. And the idea is that you have to let them know they're in their bed now, and the only thing they have to do is go to sleep. You're not abandoning them. You're going to check in on them. You're there, and you've provided all their needs are met. They've a dry nappy. They're full belly. They're nice and warm and cozy. They're clean. They're content. You've shown them love. They just have to go to sleep now by themselves. And we left the room, and he didn't make a peep for 15 minutes. Whereas with Winter, she started screaming straight away. We think we've had two ends of the spectrum when it comes to sleep training.
Definitely, yeah. And the best thing you can do is, or what you're supposed to do is, in terms of with Rocky, because he didn't make a noise for 15 minutes, you don't go back in the room, you just wait. But then once he starts crying, and it's only when you hear him actually crying, some babies just make noise and whatever, which means don't start the clock.
Yeah.
Just write it out, just wait. And then when he eventually, if maybe they won't, but if they do start crying, start a timer and think of 5 minutes or whatever, count 5 minutes. And after 5 minutes, then go in, just reassure them, spend about 20 seconds in the room.
Don't lift them up is the main thing.
Pat them on the back, rub their bum, rub their head, whatever you need to do, and then leave the room again and then start again.
So with you do these things called check-ins, and as you say, like they only the timer starts when they're actually crying. Night one with Rocky, he was quiet for 15 minutes, whimpered for about 7, and sort of shouted and made noise, and then he started crying. So he's now in his bed 22 minutes before he actually started crying. He cried for 5 minutes. I went down, done all the things that you said, soothed them, but you cannot lift them up. That escalates the crying. If you lift them out of their bed, then they think, oh, we're getting back up again, and then you put them back down. They're like, what the fuck, and that makes it way worse.
Wee bit slower.
Sorry, sorry.
Fucking hell.
There's so much to get through. I know. Just don't lift them up. And you're soothing them enough. You're patting their head, giving them a wee kiss, all the rest of it. Leave the room. He cried for 2 more minutes, and then he put himself to sleep.
No, he woke up in the middle of the night.
And it was torture.
And he cried for 2 hours, wasn't it? 2 hours?
Yeah. No, in saying that there, we weren't cruel. We were going in constantly and reassuring him and like making sure all his needs were met, making sure he didn't have a dirty nappy, all that there, on all that. And it was really fucking shit that first night. And he woke Winter, and then she was up for an hour and he did 17 stories about Santa. And it was like a whole thing. It was like mayhem, and I was beside myself, wasn't it? I was crawling out of my skin because all I want to do is go on and lift him and just like hold him and, you know, just like feed him to sleep and just be like, forget about it. Like we're just gonna leave it. Then he went to sleep. It did take 2 hours, and I know that sounds really brutal, but that's sometimes what you need to do. And the next day, that was it.
That was it.
That was it. Like usually any sleep training plan says it takes up to like, you know, it could take up to 2 weeks. Night 2, lay him down in his bed, no tears, went straight to sleep himself.
Not a peep, not a noise,
not a peep.
nothing.
He woke up once or twice on the second night for like 5 to 10 minutes, but not crying ever. Just like making noise, like talking to himself, and then went back to sleep. And that was it. He has never woken up in the night again.
Yeah. Now, that was with you putting him to bed, which you wanted to do at the start, just to make it an easy process as possible. But then there was one night when you had to go to work where I had to put him to bed. And when I put him down, he cried for 5 minutes. I went back in, patted him and stuff. Then he whimpered for about 7 or 8 minutes, and then he went to sleep.
Yeah. So obviously then you're going to have a wee bit of a hiccup when it's a different caregiver going in and putting him to sleep. But then that's why we've agreed that we're going to try and let like his nanny put him to sleep at some point at bedtime and all those things that like well, I know it was my fault just because I wasn't in a good place after Winter. I didn't want anyone caring for except for me.
Craigavon.
Yeah. What? Always in Craigavon. Which sort of meant then that like you made a rod for your back because nobody put her to bed ever. And it was like, even still now, she's only slept in her nanny's like once, and it's like, you know, she would be totally fine, but it just took a long time. Like, I don't know why I am so obsessed.
You are OCD when it comes to sleeping.
With the kids, like,
kids.
Obsessed. It's debilitating. It's all I think about. And so anyway, because I'm breastfeeding him, or if you're bottle feeding, you need to wean the night feeds. They do. Now, the program we followed it's called Taking Cara Babies, which I know is like...
Spell that out for people watching.
Well, Taking and then Cara, Cara is the girl's name, and then Babies. But I know, like, I'm basically like...
is this a website? Instagram?
It's both. It's a website and Instagram. Yeah, it's the girl's company. But like... And I know it's sort of like, oh, like this is a business this girl has, but it's also this information is readily available everywhere online. I'm just giving it to you in a concise way. And also, I genuinely think that all of this information should be handed to you in a booklet when you have a baby from the NHS.
Big time.
Because it's life-changing, the sleep training thing. I have like so many actor friends who I have talked them through sleep training their babies, and it's changed their lives.
Yeah.
And they've been able to like get a full night's sleep then. So I had to wean. You have to wean the feeding.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So whether you're bottle feeding or breastfeeding, you were obviously breastfeeding.
Yeah.
Talk about that and how you did that, because you started at 10 minutes, isn't that right?
Yeah.
The first night he was...
It started the week before sleep training, so you have to be writing down the sort of times each night that your child wakes up and sort of look at what sort of makes sense. So every night Rocky was waking him between 12 and 1, and he was waking him between 3 and 4, and I would just go on and feed him. And that was sort of happening like uniformly. So I was like, okay, I need to get in there a half an hour to an hour before that time each night to dream feed him, which is when you left a baby when they're asleep, give them a wee quick feed, and they're still asleep, and you put them back down, and then they've not... So that you're never responding to a cry by feeding them or rocking them or whatever, because you're sort of giving them the opportunity to not wake up by feeding them quickly before that. Mm-hmm. So I would go in, as you're saying, during those intervals and wean down the time each night. First 2 feeds were 10 minutes long. The next night at 8 minutes, then 6, then 4. And then only 1 feed.
I thought you did 10 and 8, then 8 and 6, 6 and 4, 4 and 2.
I think it's up to yourself what you want to do. You can start at 15 minutes. It's as long as you're weaning them down each night. And on the 5th night, you've only got 1 feed. I went in once and did 1 3-minute feed. And the 6th night, which was last Saturday night, we were like, oh my God, this is the first night he's not going to have a feed. And that young fella slept for 12 hours straight and not a peep.
Now, this is 3 nights?
And he's done a 12 hour, a 13 hour. I'll wake him after 13 hours last night. It was 8 o'clock in the morning. I was all, Jesus, good afternoon. Do we get on to a teenager as well?
And they come down at 9:30.
Yeah, you're all, oh, jeez, the day's over. That's the way it was to him, 8 o'clock. And 3 nights in a row now he slept and he doesn't make a peep. But, knowing our luck,
So this is 3 nights. That Saturday, a couple of nights ago, when we were like, this could be it. This could be the first
Full
time
night's
in
sleep,
5 months we get a
yes.
full night's sleep. Our daughter's been sick for 3 nights.
Up 6
and she
times.
has been up at least 5-6 times a night.
6 times the first night, 3 times the second night, 1 time last night because she's had a really bad cough, and we were like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I was so looking forward to that Saturday night. I've just been like, I'm going to have a real long sleep. And I haven't even been able to feel the benefits of it yet, because then the next night I was gigging last night. But tonight, I think she might be better tonight. And then
One thing we did too that we realised yesterday that we did wrong was every time we went into our 2-year-old daughter, when she cried in the middle of the night, we would go into her and she'd be like, story. And you're like, right. So you'd lie down beside her or sit down beside her and tell her a story. And then we were like, why are we doing this?
5 times a night.
Why are we going in and telling her a story? Then she was waking up and just going, I fancy another story.
Yeah.
And you're like, no. So
Yeah.
from last night, night, we
funny
went
'cause-
back in. We were like, no more stories. You know, it's sleep
Yeah.
time now. You have to go to sleep. And we'd rub her head or hold her hand for a minute. And then we'd go, right, I'm going to the bathroom. I'll be back later, whatever.
Yeah.
Night,
But
night.
it's funny because like for her, a story is like YouTube in your head.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? She's like, well, this is a fun time. I can imagine all these things happening. And
What our daughter does too is we don't read her stories. She goes, tell me a story. And
We
then
make it
we
up.
would say, like, right, name a few family members. And she goes, this person, that person, that person. And then you just have to tell her a story for 10 minutes based on what they've done that day or where they're going.
yeah, she would be like, because this past few nights she's been waking up because she's not well. She'd be like, oh, mommy, ah, do the monitor like crying, like mommy, mama. And then you go in the room and she'll tell me a story about Santa's elf as soon as you open the door, and you're wee shit.
She's got her Christmas tree up and all.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
decorated in the middle of the night.
Or last night, she was all, mommy, it was like half fun. I opened the door and she was all, tell me a story about the girl who won't wear her Halloween costume. And I was like, no stories, go to bed. And then she never woke up for the rest of the night. So for us, Sleep Training Rocky has been a massive success really, really quickly. And now the other thing is, do not try and do daytime naps at the same time as you sleep train them during the night, or you might end up with a really overtired baby. Once they're consistently sleeping through the night, 11 to 12 hours, then you need to then tackle naps. So we haven't tackled naps yet. And today is the first day we've left him with someone over a nap. He's in your mum's house, and I was up to Hido there beforehand because I was like, he's not, it's like past his nap time, and she hasn't texted to let me know he's gone down. And then she sent us through a photograph of him in the monitor, and I was like, thank fuck. Like, it's like debilitating how obsessed I am with it.
I know. But I think as well, sometimes it comes across like I don't give a shit. Whereas I do. I think I care as much as a normal person. But I feel like you're overdrive. You're
Yeah.
like...
And I don't know if it comes from because I'm breastfeeding, because I'm the sole, like, because I'm the only person who could like put them to sleep contently, where they would be like, this is a great time, I'm happy and I'm cozy and I'm going to sleep, because you just feed them and they'd fall asleep when you're feeding them, and then you just put them in their, because there are kids who have never fallen asleep to a bottle, like even a bottle of express milk, they wouldn't fall asleep like that, or that's just how they fall asleep, is being fed. So I think I felt a massive pressure because I'm the person that puts them to sleep. So if they don't sleep, or they skip a nap and they get overtired and then they're going to be fussy before bedtime going to sleep, that pressure is all on me. So that's probably why I've been so obsessed with sleep, because if they skip a nap and they're crying, it's me.
Yeah.
If they skip a nap and they're overtired, they'll be up half the night, and it's me. It's never you. Do you know what I mean? So that's why. That's the reasoning for being so obsessed with sleep. And I remember with Winter, whenever only I had never heard before I had my first child, I never knew that you had to put a baby to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought they just go to sleep, or like they fall asleep,
They sleep all day.
or like you just like go about your life and they're like, oh, she's having a wee nap there. Like that's just how it happens. You know, I didn't think you had to like build like even every nap, like everything had to be structured, and like we've become quite regimented with sleep, and it's become really important in our house, but that's because it makes your life easier.
Yeah. Huckleberry's great too. I think we talked about that before, did we?
The
Or
app?
no, we talked about Family Wall, I think, before.
Yeah. Oh, which some people have started using. Huckleberry is a class app because it tells you, like, wake windows is another thing. Oh my God. See the maths in my head all day long going like, oh, he woke up at 1:15 and then he's got 2 hours and 50 minutes for the next wake window. So I'd be like, 3:30, and then but actually had a 20-minute sleep earlier on, so maybe I need to shorten the wake window, and all this is like all day long, and in your head's all, will we have pizza for dinner, or will we?
Genuinely, when you were talking about breastfeeding, my stomach was rumbling. You might have even heard it in the mic.
Like it's shocking the difference of what goes on in your head and my head, and I think it doesn't, as you say, it doesn't mean you care less. It just means
I've retired though. So
yeah,
it's
you've
probably-
retired. But Huckleberry is great because it tells you all the time. Like you literally type in your child's nap, and it pops up going, "This is the time they need to go to sleep again." Depending
around
on
that time, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
like they need to go to bed around 12:10.
and it changed our life with Winter because it meant
Yeah.
that she went to sleep easier. Like she just went. She was like, "Oh, this is the perfect time for me to go to sleep now." Where
She's
I'm
not too tired or not tired enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where it's
perfect.
great.
Yeah.
So I think
Tonight could be the night.
tonight could be the night.
I mean, you get a full night's sleep.
Big old stretch.
Do you know what? I've been sleeping terribly this past week as well. Like, terribly. I've been up for 2 to 3 hours in the middle of the night most nights, tossing and turning.
I mean,
Awful.
that's something you've been doing since I met you, Sean, and you need to figure that out.
On and off, though.
Yeah, I think there's a period of time where you just get so exhausted that you sleep really well, but it's whenever there's like work things coming up and all, your brain goes into overdrive.
Overdrive, yeah. I'm up in the middle of the night just thinking of material and thinking of scenarios and thinking of like what an audience member's going to say and what I'm going to say back to them, and thinking of like job titles that people have and they're going to throw at me, and I'm going to have to think of a joke on the spot to do it.
Oh,
and
really?
I'm driven
You're
insane.
giving it away.
I know.
None of us prepare anything we're going
Yeah.
to say on stage before we go out. It's all off the cuff.
We just get up and
All
be
them
funny.
Netflix specials you see, they just thought of it there and then.
Yeah.
That's the magic. People think that. Like, no, it's very, 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 very organised. It's like a script.
We recorded a wee BBC, I say a wee, like I'm undermining it, a nice BBC show a few weeks ago. It was nice, wasn't it?
Dave was sort of fronting a Stand Up from the Sunflower BBC
Dave
show.
Elliott, not
Dave
the
Elliott.
channel.
Oh, aye, yeah.
Yeah.
A BBC stand-up thing. So
And should be on the iPlayer in the next few weeks, isn't that right?
I know it's in
coming out
January.
Oh, it's not before Christmas?
no, it'll get lost in all the Christmas stuff. So they'll put it out. They'll put it out in January.
That's good, because I was going to do Christmas material.
Oh, here that would have
I
been
know,
silly.
I know. I'd have
Why
been
would you
cut.
do that for something that sits on the iPhone?
Thinking that it was coming out over Christmas.
But then it sits there forever, or for a couple months until the BBC don't want to pay for it anymore.
Yeah.
then it's a goner. Jesus Christ! Why tell everyone what happened to me last week in the Blame Game?
Yeesh.
So, speaking of writing material, the Blame Game's back. It's on the iPlayer. You can watch it now. And our first guest, we had 2 radio episodes that we do take seriously, but they're not. But there's not as much pressure because they're not on TV. This week was the first TV episode, and we had Fowler Dougal himself and Fowler Ted, legendary comedian Ardal O'Hanlon, that everyone respects and loves and adores and laughs at in equal measures. And so it was a lot of pressure for the first week when you have a guest like that who's like such a renowned comedian and everyone really respects him. Anyway, I worked really hard last week, didn't I? Like I wrote constantly, like Monday to
I mean,
Thursday.
you work hard every week, but
Yeah, but like I'm writing constantly.
Yeah.
And usually whenever we meet up in the BBC before, we all get a Nando's or a Pizza Express and we all sit around having the crack. I was like, guys, can't chat, gotta go, right. I was in my dressing room the whole time, fine-tuning material. Also like a pure geek, trying to make it user-friendly and highlighting some words in different colours so I could like easily refer to them. And I'm talking 11 pages of notes, right? Imagine, that's like a dissertation. That's what I usually have in front of me each week. And it took me all week to write and all day to like finesse, and I went to email it to the runner and it deleted from my laptop 45 minutes before showtime. Every single letter. I was literally running around the BBC with a laptop in my hand going, who knows computers? And they brought me to some tech guy on the top floor. He's in his office and he's all, well, it's actually gone. And he was like, it's completely gone. And I was texting you, I was shaking, I was losing my shit. And he was literally handing me back my laptop, and it was like 20 to 7. You're talking now like just over half an hour to we start the show. And he's like, it's gone. And I was like, oh my God, I can't even remember. Like how the Blame Game works is we get sent loads and loads and loads of news articles to read all week, and we then have to write funny stuff on it. And you just like, you just chat about that on the
and
spot.
it's untried and untested, which a lot of people don't know. Like, Joe, a comedian working on a set or working on a joke could spend months crafting that joke into it being the standard or level that they wanted to be at
Yeah.
or that an audience are laughing at every gig. Whereas you are going out there with 10 to 15 pages every single week
Yeah.
of
Of
just
material you wrote that day.
topical news stories of stuff that you've written in the past day or two.
Sometimes it's really difficult. It's like a news story might be like 6 sheep have stormed a spar in a Harclogher 5 mile town, and you're all have to write them. I mean, that's it. That's the funny bit, you know, and you have to like write material on that. And then so it all got deleted, and I literally went to my dressing room and I just sat there like it was like Rain Man, did all the things, and I was like writing every single bit I could remember out on the page, just like bashing it out. You would hate looking at it, all the spelling mistakes, everything thrown together on the page. And I remember Neil Delamere coming in to me, and he was all, because I had told him earlier that day that I had brought like a special concoction that you encouraged me to bring with me, because I did a show, The Hendry, like not that long ago, and I was going to Ballymena, and I like nearly fell asleep on the way. So I stopped off and got a coffee, a sugar-free Red Bull, and a bag of Skittles, and banged a lot of it. And Ballymena saw the best of me that night. I was off my bangle the whole time, right? I was like, even the, oh no, it was Corinne, and even like the producers.
Hello, Ballymena.
And they go, Ballymena. I cared over it, and I remember like a couple of people in the cast and crew like throughout like the hour before the show being all, "Are you all right?" And I was like, I cannot get the crazy out. As well, I've got so much energy. So anyway, that day you rolled me bang your wee special concoction before the show, because I was so exhausted, because this was like the week before we were this week whenever we were sleep training, so it was like stressful anyway, and I banged all that beforehand, and I told Neil about it, and Neil knocked on my door and opened the door, and I'm at the laptop, I can see her like a dog trying to paddle through water, like just typing everything in, and he was all, "Do you have any Skittles you could give me?" And I was all, "Neil, I've lost all my jokes," and I could just see him pouring some Skittles out, and I was like teary and like beside himself, and I just he sat the bag of Skittles back down beside me, and he went, "I think I'm just going to leave you to it." And then he just left. And then but to be fair, everyone was trying to figure it out, but he was just like, "I think I'm just going to leave you there." Also, I don't know what Irish accent I'm doing, but it's not Neil's. It's an Irish accent, it's fine. And I ended up going out and having a really fun, really good show. So I basically, afterwards, Tim was all to me, just delete your notes every week.
Yeah.
Because that meant that I had to rewrite them all out and learn them, so I felt more confident going out. But Christ on a bike, it was literally the most terrifying hour of my life.
But you said that's what you might do from now on then, is just on a Thursday before the show, just sit down and just write out all
everything
your
back
notes
out again.
from thought.
Yeah. It was terrifying. And then you were texting me like the whole time, being like, "Oh, please ring me and let me know what's happened," like after the show. But it was a scary time. But yeah, that's how it works. People write their material beforehand. Nobody's funny naturally.
It's mad that we had do you remember Friday night we actually had drinks last minute and the Blame Game was on. So I put it on our wee Alexa in the kitchen. I cannot remember a second of it.
No, neither can I. Remember, did that happen then now? And we didn't even have that much to drink.
Didn't even have that much.
But
I
it
think
was
because we
late.
maybe hardly ate them. It was late and it was like last minute. It was like, let's just have a couple of drinks here.
Yeah. Because I remember thinking, I do have sort of flashbacks of it being on, but can't really remember what was in it. But it is available to watch now on the iPlayer. And 2 local comedians that you know very well will be upcoming. There's 2.
Are you allowed to say no?
I don't know.
Maybe don't say just in case.
Oh, maybe because it's not really my news to say, is it?
Yeah, let Dave say himself.
2 of our very good friends will be on it.
Yeah, we started a wee health kick there yesterday.
Yes.
So far, so good. Wonders that why I'm starving.
Well, the health kick isn't why you're starving, because we're still eating plenty of food, but you haven't eaten today is why you're starving.
Must be that then.
Do you know what I mean? Like you haven't had breakfast or lunch and it's lunchtime. We decided to just try. Do you know why? Like, you must. Have you the fear of God and you turning 40 about your health?
No.
You should. You should think about it more. When your brother was turning 40, he got massively into running. Remember? And like started off, went off sugar and all. No, it was as he was turning 40. I think he took a real big because I'm sure there comes a time, like I have aches and pains all the time now from having kids. My back's broke, and all the time I'd be like, any minute now I am gonna just like become like the epitome of health. Like I followed this girl on TikTok who says all these sort of what? I follow this girl on TikTok, and she's like a holistic person who knows all the shit. Do you know what I mean? And yesterday she was like, put lemons on everything. So I had a hot water lemon this morning. Do I not look younger?
You do, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
You look 20 minutes younger.
Or even like the magnesium thing, or salt if you've got like a fluid retention, which sounds counterproductive, but put a bit of salt in your mouth and then drink a glass of water. Apparently I've been doing that since yesterday.
Do you ever see the trick where you pretend to pour salt in your mouth and you can actually taste it? Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Right. Pretend you're holding a wee thing of salt, right? Now
No, I know what you're gonna do.
Tastes really sweet.
You're gonna make me look like I'm drinking pineapple jizz.
Pretty much, yeah. That would have been funny.
That is such a juvenile thing to do. Do you remember when you were in school and you spoiled to somebody, you put your hand on the desk and you'd be like, push your head. You used to go, I can cure diseases. Put your head. That's what you used to say. I'm the seventh son of a seventh son. I can cure diseases. Put your head down and push it on my hand, and then you would just slide your hand out in their hand and go boom. Did you not do that? Fuck, it was brutal. You'd have a big bruise here. And why anybody? Do you know what it is too? If you go to someone, put your head on my hand and push it under this table, I can cure diseases. The person's going, no, you can't. But just in case you can, I have got asthma.
There's ones too where you would like press like a coin against somebody's head and then
Yeah.
you'd get them to like flick it into their hand and people are sitting like this for like minutes and there's nothing there. They can just feel the imprint of it.
Yeah.
You took it away.
Or do you know what was in the American Office? Remember Dwight to Michael Scott did like a whole, there's an egg, stab on your back and the blood is running down. There's an egg on your head and it's cracking all around. I don't know what the words are.
It's not that, but yeah.
Yeah, but and all of a sudden, but it's not what?
It's not that.
All right,
but,
but
yeah.
you know what? And you start to be all,
the gist.
it gives you the shivers. People love getting the shivers. That's such a weird thing to enjoy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Imagine when you're like tender by your all long walks on the beach getting the shivers. People do like that feeling.
Yeah.
People are dirty bastards.
Was tickling ever banned?
From who?
Just in general? Because I think I read an article
Do you mean like during COVID?
a while ago.
No.
Like you can't tickle people during COVID? Is that what you...
You just asked me a very open-ended question there. You went, was tickling ever
Yeah.
banned?
Tickling is like a thing that no one enjoys. Like no one, you laugh, but it's just like
Yeah.
your body reacting, but everybody hates being tickled. Whereas apparently this thing was, I don't know if some law was trying to be forced through where it was genuinely illegal to tickle people because it was so, and like, Joe, when somebody tickles you and you're like, I just want to
Punch your face
you know what I
in.
mean? It's like,
Yeah, but like, surely you're not tickling people you don't know for it to be illegal.
family
you-
members,
Imagine,
your wee nieces and nephews, do you know what I mean?
yeah, like you're like, what's that Mr. Man? He has loads of hands. And he just run around going, tickling people. That's the reason why it's been banned. Like, that's so silly. But like, Winter would go, tickle me, and then you tickle her, and then she's all, no, and then she's like, tickle me again. Do you know what I mean? Like, and then you tickle, and she's like, stop it, and then she's all, tickle me. Like, why is it?
don't
It's a
know.
weird compulsion we all have, isn't it?
Yeah. We have like a Haggerty tickle where a lot of us get tickles like right in here. So if
And
you go
your
into the
groin?
wee sort of crease in your groin, we laugh for days.
So,
We have like family retreats and stuff where we go and just tickle each other. It's
just tickle
great.
each other's groins.
It's not during COVID.
It's so strange. People are rare.
Yeah.
What do you? But I tickled Rocky recently as well to see if because there's just babies are like. Do you know
They
what I
do
mean? Like,
get to a certain point though where they start feeling it, don't they?
no,
Is it now?
I tickled Rocky last week and he laughed. I tickled his
Oh,
armpits.
really? Yeah.
Yeah, and he started laughing as all. He has arrived. Up until they're 4 months, there are actual blobs. Like there's nothing. They've not got the cognitive skills to do shit all. And then
Right.
after that, they start to be like, "Oh, there's a wee person coming out of you there." Do you know what I mean? You're becoming a human that we can interact with. Because even with the boys, whenever Winter was just a baby, they were really excited for her coming, and then whenever she arrived, they were like, "She is so boring."
I know.
Until she starts
They
to get to the
really
stage
are.
we can play with her.
Yeah. And then you can chase her about, and when they start walking, I think it's the best kind of age, isn't it? Or from then onwards.
No, they say the parenting sweet spot is when your baby can sit up unaided. You have to hold them constantly, but before they start crawling, you've got about a week. And that's the sweet spot because
That's
you can
when
sit
lumps
them
start
down.
falling,
Yeah,
that's when-
they can't pull things down because you just sit
Yeah.
them and they're going to stay exactly where they are. And they can't scoot off into different directions. But also you don't have to like prop them up and worry that they're going to just go and fall over, kamikaze themselves. So that's the sweet spot. We've got that to look forward
And
to.
when's that? When do they start sitting up for themselves?
I think maybe about 6 or 7 months, maybe 7 months, 8 months.
I'm looking
Somewhere
forward to
between
Rocky
6
doing
months
that.
and 5.
Yeah.
I'd imagine they can sit up by themselves. And you know what's fun? They keep doing it.
Yeah.
They just keep sitting up by themselves.
Good times. Did you? Has nobody seen your hair yet on the podcast? You've changed it.
It was cut last week.
You sure?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Sorry to disappoint you.
Delete that clip.
Yeah. Do you know what too we needed to talk about, because a lot of people have, one person asked about how we introduced the idea of a baby to Winter, like how we told her that she was going to have a wee baby brother or sister, and how we made that integration easy, because people really struggle with that too. Like their second baby comes along, the first one feels put out and wants to throw stuff at the baby and whatever else. One thing we did, and I read this online, I remember looking up tips, is you buy them a present from the baby.
When it's born.
Yeah, when it's born.
Yeah.
Although I gave Winter her present early, and you were like, she's not going to know that's from the baby when it comes, and then I had to buy her another one.
But then she also, like, we bought her something for Christmas and it was too big for her, so we gave it to her again on her birthday and it was still too big, so
So
we're
we
giving
put it
to her
away for
again
Christmas again.
It's it's fucking stupid.
Spoiler alert, it's a bike. It's been too big for her for a year. I'm really annoyed because we went into the place to buy it and the guy measured her and measured the bike and was all, that's the size of bike she'll need. Like, do you want these, what do you call them?
Like the bike with no pedals
Push
on
bike
it.
sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then that was last December, and she sat on the bike, and like I watched it happening in slow motion in our kitchen. She sat on the bike and she just looked up and just went slow motion to the ground, just sort of falling, and then it went crash because her feet weren't touching the ground,
Yeah.
and there's no stabilizers on it.
And it scarred her, didn't it? It was like
That was her. She was like, never again.
Yeah.
So then, when her birthday came around in April, we got it back out. Still too wee for it. So hopefully this is the Christmas.
Yeah.
She'll be getting that every year till she's 18, till she grows into it.
Yeah. Someday.
Yeah.
Someday.
I think this Christmas is the Christmas.
There was a question somebody asked us as well. I think it was about a week or two back, like saying, like as if we're politicians, could we talk about childcare
Childcare.
and the price of it and stuff over here, which is absolutely criminal because in England they get how many hours free a week childcare?
The recent thing
18
came in.
or something, is it? Or
No, it's like full. It's like 30 hours maybe now. Whenever.
way.
No, it is. It's only came in recently now for 2 to 3 year olds.
we're moving.
We're moving to England.
No?
Well, do you not love Craig Gavin? They get. I don't know if you can just move over and they'll just. I mean, obviously we're not going to, but yeah, it's like 2 to 3 year olds get like 30 hours free childcare. It's so mad because then it's like 4 year olds are just abandoned because then you're like not in school till you're 5. Really?
Can you get it in a row? That'd be good fun, wouldn't it?
What do you mean?
30 hours a week, just in a row. Like Monday morning, you drop them off and pick them up Wednesday afternoon.
Oh right, in a row like
That'd be
that.
sweit, wouldn't
Maybe.
it?
I don't know if it's overnight.
That's also terrible math. You'd be picking them up the next day. like,
Yeah,
The next evening.
Drop them off and pick them up 9 weeks later.
You'd be all, is that not 30? Is that 31? Well, you're right.
You're right.
Should have been
4
here
days later
yesterday.
and you're all, what am I like with my accounting?
Take the 30 off next week.
Yeah. Yeah, but here you do get there. I think there is some childcare for like lone parents or maybe a specific income or whatever. I think, but yeah, a large percentage of people have to pay an extortionate amount. Like I think it's like, let me try and do the math, but about roughly around £60 a day, which for most people is the bulk of their wages. Like there's a lot. That's why I think this isn't this. Fuck me.
This is a whole podcast.
I
itself,
think
isn't
this
it?
system is built so that women don't go back to work.
Disgusting.
It is. It's patriarchy. It fucking is. Be quiet a wee second. No joking. But that's what it is. It's like they don't want. I know who the fuck is orchestrating this, but usually when one parent has to stay at home and the other one goes back to work, it's usually the mum stays at home because they're maybe breastfeeding or because they're recovering from birth, and men only get 2 weeks off, and you can't expect a woman to go back to work really, and be away from their baby for 9-10 hours a day when their baby's 2 weeks old. That's crazy because they need to be around their mum or at least one of their parents. So I think the system is built for women not to be able to go back to work, to keep them at home. Do you know the research has been done, and I don't know the exact figures, but putting money into childcare, a government, it's been in the Scandinavian countries, it's been proven, putting money into childcare boosts extra money for the economy because women can go back to work, they earn money, which they then spend and put back into the economy. It's something like, you know, putting for every £8 put into childcare from the government, £15 goes back into the economy. It's an investment. If they put money into childcare, the country would benefit economically from that. But for some reason they don't, and they know they can. They know that they know it. The research has been done in other countries. So why? And in
Are
my
they trying to bring
opinion,
down the birth rate or something, or what is the
I think
reasoning?
they're trying to stop women go back to work because we still live in a patriarchal society, whether you want to believe it or not. They want to stop women entering the workforce. And also because women being at work, a lot of places find that a hindrance who are mothers because they're like, oh, do you need time to go pump? Are you going to have to leave if your child's sick? Do you have to leave and take your child to get their jags, to go to, you know, the nativity show? Like, they never assume a dad's going to leave work for any of those things, but they assume a mother is going to have to. Like, there is lots of women who went back to work after they've had a child but felt completely unwelcome in the workplace because I need to pick my child up from school. Could I maybe do a 8:30 to 3:30 and do flexi hours on a different day? And they don't, and many women have been dismissed from their jobs because they can't go back to work exactly the same way they did before. So I think it's a way of keeping women from going back into the workforce.
So how do you change that?
I don't know. I don't have all the answers. I've got some of them, but not all of them. I don't know. I mean, I suppose it's just about raising awareness of that because I think it goes unnoticed that most women aren't able to go back to work by default. Not by choice, but by default. And because it's just so expensive. Because how can you afford it? That's a full person's wages. If you have a child in daycare 5 days a week, you know, for the full month, that's £1,000 a month. If you've got 2 kids in daycare, quick math, £2,000 a month. That's someone's wage.
What about 3 kids?
I can't go as far as 3. I can only think about the 2 we have.
But yeah, we know a lot of couples and they both work, but one of their wages just pays for childcare.
So one of their wages just pays for childcare, and then you would ask, what's the point in going back to work? For your sanity,
Yeah, for your mental
social
health.
life,
Yeah.
for your fulfillment, for your own satisfaction. Maybe you're good at your job. You know
For
what I mean?
your fur.
For a million things. Like, it can't just be down to finances, and it usually is default that the woman stays at home. It's very unfair, and it needs to be something that's maybe I don't know how that's fixed, but the government need to invest in childcare fees. And that will boost the economy. You heard it here first. What will we do with the extra money? Extra money goes back into the economy. What are we buying?
Shoes.
Cocktails!
Tickets to the Elf in Belfast.
Yeah, that's what you can buy with your extra money. There's not that many tickets left, to be fair.
I know.
We did release an extra week not that long ago, but I think a lot of them are gone as well. Is there anything? Do we need to wrap up? Is there anything we need to?
No, just the last of the tickets for Elf in Belfast are out now.
By the time this is out, actually, yeah, my brand new show. Sorry, guys. Always flogging a show. This is actually something that's really special to me. I wrote a dark comedy, a one-woman show called Sunny Side Up. That's like I've taken inspiration from our own fertility journey and going through IVF, and it will be on for a few weeks next year in April in the very prestigious Lyric Theatre in Belfast, which has been my dream since I started acting, was to do a show. I've never performed on that stage, and now I get to write and produce and star in my own one-woman show on that main stage, and it's so exciting. And we're producing it through our own company, Cheesy Grin, and tickets are available now, and it would mean the world to me. If you're interested in the things that we've been talking about in this podcast, this show's right up your street.
Yeah.
So Sunny Side Up at the Lyric, Elf in Belfast, in the Grand Opera House. Have a great time.